everyone, how's everyone doing today? Today we'll be discussing Samhain a little more in detail than we did on the Wheel of the Year. So here we go. Okay, so Samhain, or Halloween, All Hallows Eve, which is New Year, Dia de los Muertos, All Souls Day, Dia de Finados, and the third harvest is October 31st through November 2nd. Samhain is one of the most important festivals of the year, one of our first four great Sabbats, and is cross-quarter day, situated between autumn equinox and winter solstice. It is believed to be a very magical time because the veil between the worlds is supposed to be thin. The living and the dead worlds is supposed to be thin at this point, as it is in one other Sabbat. According to History Channel, ancient Celts marked Samhain as the most significant of the four quarterly fire festivals, taking place at the midpoint between the fall equinox and the winter solstice, like I said. During this time, the hearth fires in the family homes were left to burn out. And after this harvest work was complete, everyone would join the Druids and light a community fire using a wheel and a spindle, and you just kind of make sparks with it. The wheel was considered representation of the sun and used along with prayers, and the cattle were sacrificed, and the flame was taken back to the hearth to be relit. The wheel also symbolizes the wheel of the god, and that's early texts present Samhain as a mandatory celebration for 3 days and 3 nights. The community was required to show up, and if you didn't show up, then the gods would punish you. So that's the end of that from history. So at Samhain we bid farewell to the sun god as he passes over into death, and he'll be reborn at Yule. As the sun god journeys to the underworld, he gathers with himself all the dead that have died since the last Samhain, and that he brings to the underworld with him as the psychopath. Christian religion adopted it as All Saints' Day and All Hallows' Day, celebrating Hallows' Eve, and it was so popular still that they still celebrated it, so they made it All Hallows' Day the next day. All Saints' Day and All Hallows' Day. It is a time for remembering your dead, honoring your ancestors, and celebrating the balance between life and death. Death is not a reason for mourning. It is a reason for celebration if we can get past our loss. Some goddesses that you could offer to at this point would be Persephone, because she is now back into the underworld with Hades. You could petition Demeter to not be as sad, and so the winter won't be as harsh. There's Hecate, Hel, Inanna, Psyche, Ishtar, Lilith, the Morgan, Rhiannon, Caradwen, Hades, Hermes, Dionysus, Kali, Cernunnos, Dispater, and Osiris, which are gods and goddesses of dead or dying, and any psychopomps that So, the aspect of the goddess at this time is the crone, and symbols of Samhain are death, black cats, owls, ravens, spiders, gourds, candles, and apples. So anything spooky will work. The colors would be black, brown, and your altar cloth can be black or brown or like a dull yellow. like the leaves, like a russet red maybe. You might want to put stones on your altar that are obsidian and jet, and herbs like heliotrope or garlic, mugwort, myrrh, mint, nutmeg, or sage. Sage is always good. And flowers like marigold or chrysanthemum. Sometimes things that you might want to do to celebrate Samhain, other than give a offering to the goddess, is with a silent supper or dumb supper to honor the dead. What that is you leave a place out for the dead and you don't speak through the whole supper. And that is a way of honoring your ancestors. Some people may want to have a candle ceremony welcoming, your ancestors that have departed into your home and into your heart and remembering them. You could visit loved ones, gravestones of loved ones. You can visit your older loved ones. When you visit your gravestones of the loved ones, you want to leave them offerings, clean the gravestone, or you can clean gravestones of adopted ancestors. Like, you could pick somebody that you want to clean their gravestone because to honor them. But another thing is you can tell stories about your ancestors. And you can carve pumpkins, bob for apples. You can go to a haunted house. Movie nights are always fun. And you can just tell stories. Scary stories or stories about the goddess or god or any of the goddesses. You can also do divinatory work. So using tarot, runes, scrying, things like that are perfect at this time because the veil between the worlds is thin. You could use incense and oils as well. This is a ingredients for a Samhain incense. It's 1 part powdered allspice, 1 part ground black pepper, 2 parts clove powder, 1 part myrrh, and like 12 of the parts should be lightly crushed rose petals. That one is from wiccanway.com. Another one from the same source is Samhain oil, which is 2 parts pine oil, 1 part frankincense oil, 1 part patchouli, 1 part lavender. So those are some ideas of what to do for your ancestors on Samhain. And because you can tell stories about ancestors on Samhain, I am going to tell a story about my ancestors. About my Gigi mom and my nanny. Their names were Lois and Mary. And they were my great-grandmother, my Gigi mom, that's why she's Gigi, and my dad's mother. When I was young, my Gigi mom would always watch us, and she would sit in her chair in the kitchen and she would sing songs about bluebirds. And it wasn't until much later that I realized I should have recorded her singing those, because it would have been awesome to hear her sing now, after she's passed away. She passed away when she was, I think it was 93. So, but she lived by herself for a very long time. And another story is we were going to her house, and we went outside. It was dead of winter. We got there, and she was breaking up ice in sweatpants and a sweatshirt and a hat, no coat. And she was in her 90s, breaking up ice with the shovel. So we fussed at her, and my brother did it. It was funny. And then my nanny, when she was sick, we talked about what I was going to do with my life. and she gave me advice that I won't share, but not yet anyway. But it was very nice to have those lasting moments with her. So that is some stories of my ancestors. So why don't you post stories of yours? That would be wonderful. So that was today's video. Like and subscribe, please. Bye. Thanks for watching.